welcome to Between Views. This is the second episode that we're recording ever so far, so here we go. I've got an awesome guest today who I've actually just met. Her name is Shima Soltani, and she is a Persian woman hailing from Iran. And the reason that we're having an interview all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, very spontaneous, is that I found what she was saying to me to be very wise. I feel like I got 6 little nuggets of wisdom in only like 10 minutes of talking with her, and I just figured there was something here. So we're going to go ahead and she's going to share her story, and from there we're just going to see where this conversation takes us. So I guess the question that I always open with, Shima, is up until this point in your life, there's been an amazing amount of circumstances which have led you to here, and like you being right here next to me now. And I want to know, what are some things that you found really important that led you to be where you are today?
Okay, hello. If I want to say, my life is a journey. I look at it like that. So I take whatever come to me like very easy and do the experience it and live my moments really. And I don't know tomorrow where I am, and it doesn't matter for me, and it doesn't bring me stress like before it was, because I was always had plan in my life, like plan A, then if it doesn't work, plan B, then C. Believe me, I had plan A to Z for my life ahead. So because I was very good in university and high school, always the first person in school, grade A, so always available there, and I always worked hard as a marketing manager, then director, then every like normal cycle that everyone in their life do it, go to school, go to university, go to work, and just the part that I wanted to get married and have kids, I just stopped. And I said, okay, do you really want it to follow this cycle in the world that everyone does,
Yeah.
And honestly, for a long time, I avoid do that. And it wasn't because I wanted, because the society pressure, I'm coming from Iran. So in the Middle East, being a woman is not easy, actually.
No.
Just independent woman, oh my God. If you have family and you are not married, you are not that much welcome to have your own place, to live alone. So
do you have to live with a man in Iran, basically,
or your family, and your man should be your husband. You cannot stay with your boyfriend without marriage. It's not possible.
So you come from a place where the societal pressure to be married and live the traditional life is incredibly high.
Yeah.
Like probably one of the highest pressures almost in the world to do exactly what your society does, right?
Yes. And actually, my friends in my age, 35, I think their kids are now in school or maybe in high school. I don't know. So I'm so far from those lifestyle, and I am super happy. Before that, those pressure, it was that much. You can't imagine. I was feeling I don't have one leg and one hand. It means that. Thank you.
Gracias. Just some lovely drinks have just magically arrived at the table. Just saying thanks.
Yeah. And because of that pressure, I was thinking, because I'm not married and I don't have kids, it means I'm not complete. So I'm weird. So, but I came out of that society. I start traveling to not feel that pain in my body, because that mental experience was that much massive in my mind, that even I could feel the physical pain in my body. So I moved from Iran, and after 1 year and a half, still I had that pain and not feeling complete, And I was thinking, why? I'm not in Iran, I'm not under the pressure of the society. Why is still I feel not complete? Because I don't have a partner in my life and I don't have kids. Suddenly I figured it out, it was not suddenly. I had a trip. I decided to go to Little Corn Island. I don't know, where is
in Nicaragua.
Yes.
We're here in Nicaragua, by the way. This conversation is taking place down at Las Peñitas, which is on the coast near Leon in Nicaragua. Where she's talking about the Corn Islands is actually on the whole other side of Nicaragua. So you've been there already on the Caribbean side.
I decided to go to a little island in a Caribbean Sea, the place that nobody knows me. So I wanted to leave behind all I have. It was like my marketing director position, being head of the factory, having MBA, being a special person that everyone, have fancy car or home. I put everything beside, and I wanted to go there as a stranger, nobody knows me, to see who I am, really, beside my position. If I'm not marketing manager and I don't have MBA and I don't have money, who I am, really, who is Shima Soltani? So, I always see myself as my position at work, and we all, we give this credit to ourselves, and I didn't want it. I want to see what's the real credit for me. So I went to that island, and I didn't know what would happen to me, and I lived there for 2 months with my little dog.
You went to Little Corn with a little dog?
Yeah.
For 2 little months?
Yes.
But I imagine they were big months, judging by where you are now.
It was, because I was living doing voluntary in one hotel. It was like they had cabanas, and it's an amazing place. I recommend everyone to go there. Yeah. And I was sleeping in a very small room that even I couldn't stand up. It was just
really?
Yeah. So, and the first night it was a rat, cockroach, and many other animals around me, and I couldn't sleep. I always traveled fancy, and for me it was a new experience, but I forced myself, and you can imagine after that 2 months I lived there and slept there. But I became friends with all of them, so I made my new lifestyle there. It was a great experience.
Can I ask you, so I find this particular point really interesting, and the reason that I find it interesting is because I feel like I kind of am living it a little bit myself as well. It's nothing that sometimes people say to you when you're back home, it's more like what they think, and you kind of live inside what they think you'll be. We get trapped inside the thoughts of other people and their expectations, and when we're at home, it can be really hard to try and explore new parts of yourself, because when you're in front of people who know you well, you act the way that they think that you'll act. So going away can be very beneficial, right? Like, when you went away, how quickly did you start to change? Because you had no one controlling where you were or how you acted with their thoughts of you, so you were completely free. And this is one of the great liberties of travel, is that no one really holds an opinion of you, so you can reshape who you are. So how would you say that you got reshaped after even just 2 months, or even after a few years? Because you said you've been here for a few years. So how has these few years reshaped who you are from then to now?
Actually, I started journey from Iran when I was living there. I started to get to know myself, and in my internal journey has been started since maybe 4 years ago, before I moved from Iran. I started to know myself because after some processes, I understood that the only things I know about myself is my name. And when I look at the mirror, I see a stranger. So, for example, maybe it's so funny because I love red, because after I dig inside, I understood I love red because my mom loves it. Yeah, the red color, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because my mom loves it. When I was 7 years old, under the 7, always my mom dressed me with a red color, and because of that, I thought I love red.
Oh, really?
But I didn't love red.
So you were like conditioned to love red?
No, we all like that. We all think we love something truly, that we don't know why. If you ask yourself why you love that color, why you love that food, why you love that person, if you really go inside and answer that question, you will be surprised, because you don't have answers sometimes. I don't know. This is the answer. And when it comes to I don't know, it's very scary, because how is it possible? For example, you stick to one lifestyle that you think this is your lifestyle, but it's not, because you're used to it, and you can choose it. I moved and I started that journey when I was in Iran. I started questioning myself a lot, and then nobody was my limitation or my barrier to act. I start to change from Iran, and everybody gets surprised. Like, what are you doing?
Even when you're in Iran.
Yeah. And that was amazing, because after I changed, all the people around me changed, and their behavior with me normally changed, not acting, because I start to talk to them, communicate with them, and I told them about how is my experience, and they accepted. I have a very lovely family, and they are so supportive. Yes, I'm so lucky about that.
Would you say that having a very supportive family was very helpful in beginning the change?
Every single step from my childhood, being in Iran is difficult, but having a family that always support you, my father always said to me, you don't have anything in front of you to stop you because you're a girl. So open your wings and fly. And I always here for supporting you, okay? It was the things that I always had in my life, and I never felt I am less than a man because I'm a woman and I'm in Iran. So
interesting.
Yeah.
The last person that I had on this show, we're just going to make a little pause here.
Yes.
For some hostile marketing, which is happening concurrently with our podcast. So we'll be back in a moment. Okay, welcome back to the second session of this podcast. So I just wanted to go over a few points that I found really interesting in our first section, just things that sort of captured my attention. You talked about life as a journey. You said you were very planned originally in the way you did things, and that's now changed. You said something about not feeling complete within traditional values of your society, and then travel being a good outlet to escape that and explore the new version of yourself. You saw yourself as a position at your work, and you became that identity rather than who you are. You were this work role, and you didn't really like that originally. And one thing that I always find interesting, I've had this come up in a few conversations recently, is looking in the mirror but not seeing what you expect. It's like the image doesn't reflect your identity, how you feel about it. It sort of reflects something totally different, and that can sometimes cause people to change. I met a guy from where was he from? He was a Berber man from Morocco, and his mirror image didn't reflect his identity at all. And it was actually that moment that was the catalyst for him to start moving in a different direction. But where we just were, we can return to all of those things later, but where we just were was, we were talking, I think, about the value of having a supportive parent, which I found really interesting because it seemed, I would have thought in Iran that parents would have really strong values, traditional values perhaps, about who their kids should be and how they should follow the society. But it sounds like your parents' generation, how old are your parents?
My father is 65, my mom is 7 younger.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So would you say that people who are that age were exposed to different values that aren't quite as strong?
I'm coming from north of Iran. The culture from north of Iran is a bit totally different from other part of Iran.
Yeah.
They are more open-minded. And actually, the parents of my generation, they are open-minded, I can say, because I could see with my friends or my classmates, the university, you can see many girls, they are educated. It means that the family are supporting them. So the point is, Iran new generation, especially younger than me, they have different point of view and ideas, and the traditions totally changed in Iran. And the things that you see from Iran is mostly news and fake news.
Yeah.
And it's reflected from the Iran government, not really Iranian behavior or culture.
Oh, really? So what I assume we're seeing, especially in Western media, is probably not a fair reflection of what's actually happening on the ground in Iran.
No. You are coming to Nicaragua. Now you're in Nicaragua. Okay, before coming to Nicaragua, especially, you can see here is a red zone of America. Don't go there, it's dangerous. But I live here for 2 years. It's the safest place ever I had in my life.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's not dangerous. Is it dangerous? Do you feel that it's dangerous here?
The only time that I've felt danger in Nicaragua was when I was in more of like a tourism-based zone. So like, for example, especially in the nightlife. So if you ever go to any parties or anything like that, I feel like there's a fair bit of there's some people who come out to surround the tourists in those moments. Maybe it's like drug dealers, thieves, people looking to take advantage of a situation.
But happened anything to you?
Nothing happened, there was definitely moments of like closeness to stuff happening.
Yeah, but I'm saying it will happen in your own country if you go to the same kind of different places, you know? It's just everywhere is like that. But I've never seen anybody lose the phone or any thief that do the things during the day or even during the night, you know? I lived in many mega cities, so I know that how is crazy there, you know? No, Nicaragua is safe, and all is you can see all the tourists goes to Costa Rica because all the advertising is going to Costa Rica, is good, is safe, and no, Nicaragua is no, but you can see it's cheaper, is good and chilling. Yeah. So it's all about marketing fakes, you know. Yeah. And politics.
I think it's a little bit of a can still even these days it's a bit of a hidden secret, Nicaragua, I suppose.
I love this about it.
Yeah, but you've moved to Nicaragua, you've realised it's a safe place. I feel like a very safe place is an even better place to encourage you to explore your identity and make change, because you can not worry about all the dangers and actually spend your energy thinking about what you're going to do each day and how you're going to be, how you're going to grow, whatever work you're doing while you're down here, which is actually something that I'd love to talk about. So you've moved away from Iran, you've been in Nicaragua for 2 years, you left a position where you considered yourself to be that role, and now you consider yourself, I assume, to be who you are more so. You're wearing your own brand, so to speak. You're down here doing your own work and making your way through the world, taking each day as it comes and providing a service that you're really strong at. So right now you are doing marketing and social media and a little bit of business management for hostels and hotels as you travel and move. I think a lot of people in the world right now would be so curious about that information, because I think there's a lot of people sitting at home who are going, I wish I could do this. What's a job I could do to go and be and travel in the world? Why am I stuck here? They're in a situation where they'd like something like what you have. So you obviously studied an MBA, so you do have studies and skills in this area, so that's one route to go about it. But what would you say, like, how has your MBA helped you? Like, how has the direction you've taken with business and marketing been incredibly helpful for you to travel and as a result explore your own identity?
Actually, I got this question a lot in my public page that I have.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to see this page? Is it a public? It's a public
Yes,
page?
It's a public page. It's Shima Adventure, and I will write it for you later.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. So I got mostly this question that how you earn money and travel, how you do that, and even my best friends from Iran, they text me, hey girl, okay, in a very informal way, I don't say it, so what are you doing there, you have money, how you earn money, and even visa, because for Iranian passport you cannot take visa. It's not just easy for anybody else, like normal people, they can travel easily, but for us we need like a suitcase of documents to prove to the government that we are not here for a stay forever, and we are not the people without money, or we are just not insisting to protect us,
Yeah.
So for everyone asked me how you make it. So the only way I figured it out it was to prove everyone that I'm useful. So I work, and whatever I can do, I see the opportunity. And before that, it was really hard for me to work any work. So because of that, I told you, I went to Little Corn Island to break that ego. So, I was in Little Corn and I was crafting these things, what do you say, the leaves for the roofs.
You were building roofing out of palm leaves.
Yes. And I learned how to do that.
It's quite a different role to an MBA in business.
It's another thing. I did it by purpose because I wanted to break that egos. Do it. It doesn't matter. It's you. You are human. And if you want, you need water, you need food, you need a place to stay. You don't need anything else to survive and be happy, So
just the necessities.
Yes, and we are from any part of the world. We have the same needs, and it doesn't matter. And I don't know how to explain it, but we think we are different. because we are from a different part of the world, we speak sometimes different languages, and our colors are different. We are coming from different culture, but scarcely we are look like each other. We are so look like each other. We have many similarity. When we talk to each other, we can understand. Even I have many close friends now that we start to share about our traumas from our childhood, and we see how our experience is so close to each other, you know?
Yeah. People have more shared stories than what they realize, I think, a lot of the time.
Yes.
And sometimes, I don't know what it comes from, maybe like a lack of vulnerability, or maybe even the skills to communicate it well. But I think if we just get down to chatting, we can actually find out we've got quite a similar story between a lot of people. Deep chat. And it's not all about deep chat, but deep chat definitely helps us resolve deeper issues.
Yes.
For sure. What I want to ask you quickly before it runs away from us is, you said you went to Little Corn to like break down your ego. How did making palm leaf roofs and just living with the bare necessities, how did that help you to break it? Like, was it quick? Did it happen all of a sudden, or was it boring? Did you have a lot of time to think?
I was crying
while you were making roofs.
Yes, because I had a very rough time with myself. I was forcing myself to do very simple things and look like, observe myself from outside. What am I doing? Before that, I was always a driver waiting for me out of the factory for hours to take me home or wherever I want, Yes, I had that kind of different life. So now what am I doing? I'm just doing the roofs, and that after that, I figured it out. I'm happy and I have peace after I look myself out of that position, because if you be dependent to your position or to something outside of you, that if suddenly somebody take it out from you, for example, you live your life and suddenly earthquake come and you don't have anything. From tomorrow you're zero. What are you doing? You don't have any job to go, you don't have any place to sleep. Who you are, you will break down, you will feel apart,
Yeah, because you build up your identity based on like things that you had and the role that you had. So that became what you were. You didn't have anything when in a space of nothingness. You had never gone to that place where you had nothing to build who you were there.
Especially our generation, because we are educated and we are on technology base.
Yeah.
And we think, especially those, us that we know how manage the things or how do the things by mind, you know what I mean? Earning money from those parts of our mind.
Yeah.
It's not manually work. We don't do normally manually. Like we don't do construction. Not most of us,
Yeah.
And we think because we are educated, we should just be in an office or just order to the people or hire people to do the execute part, Because of that, if that part, we just leave it aside, we cannot do anything. Can you, for example, go to a restaurant and cook? I don't know, maybe many people from different parts of the world have this experience, Normally people go to the college and they work in a restaurant or McDonald's or everything. But in my country, it's not normal to do that. You go to university, you have the good job, and then, and you live your life, and you never want to do, for example, very simple jobs, And yeah, then if you're not that person that can do those things, who you are? Can you survive? So yeah, I did it, and now after that, it doesn't mean you will stay in that position. Making roofs is not bad things. It's not a good thing. It's just different things,
I mean, we're sitting under a roof made from palm thatching now, and I gotta be honest, I'm pretty happy that I'm not getting sunburnt. And I feel like you said you were crying while you were making them. Like, I think that's a really good way to test whether it actually works, see if it's waterproof. So probably a good thing to reflect on stuff like that while you were there making them. I feel like all of the labour skills obviously are beneficial, and I find it really interesting what you talk about. We go to university or get educated to train our minds so we can do like the thinking work, people who have gone to university, as opposed to doing the labour work. there's people who are skilled labourers too, and it's actually quite funny. In Australia, I think the people who are skilled labourers these days actually earning more money
that's true.
than the people who are
more useful.
You know, like in quotation marks, educated. So
no, but believe me, in MBA we get if we hire, you know, as a marketing manager or director, our salary is super high.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you,
in Iran even.
Yes, and in all over the world, you know, and MBA has a good value, bring good value, but I'm telling to you, it's all about mind and plan and these kind of things. And if somebody cannot do that, cannot do anything else, because it's all about the computer, plan a strategy, making these things.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, I guess this whole point of this conversation is to talk about where you came from and how it helped you today. So, even though at the time you weren't particularly, I guess, enjoying that you were just your job role, and, you know, perhaps it wasn't serving you perfectly well then, it's certainly serving you a lot now. So, like, would you still say that it's, like, useful having gone through that hardship and learned the skills so that now you can take them to the world? Because, I mean, you can't really get to where you are now without that, right?
No, I'm so proud that I did the study, and if I go back, I will do it again. But I will.
How would you do it different? Is there a way to do what you did differently, or?
I will start traveling very early in my age. You know, I would do that. I would different type of traveling. You know, that to learn more, maybe, or maybe I start to know myself earlier. It was all started when I started to change, because before that I was my way of looking to the people who was from up to down, you know. I couldn't see people like as a human. They were for me like robots, or like this table with you, for example, before was the same for me, because you are not useful for me. So this point of view that I had, and after that now I sit and talk with the people, even I don't know much about the language, I put the value on them and I see them, I hear them, and I can see the difference, you know. It's totally changed. I changed, you know. After I changed, my life changed. It's just about that.
I think that's a really, I think it's one of the stronger learnings of today. A lot of people are engaging in the idea of self-betterment and like paying attention to identity and self-growth, actually helping the world around you and helping the people around you. Now, it's kind of a tricky one, because I feel like that can easily be portrayed as like a selfish thing. It can easily be like people will be very quick to tell you, it's like, if you're just spending all this time on yourself, you're not really thinking about anyone else. But I think a lot of people who are engaging in self-growth and exploring their own identity for the better, they're having a good effect on them. And when you have a good effect on yourself, you begin to be good to the people around you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If you start to have a good effect on the people around you, that's actually a great way of having a good effect on yourself. It goes both ways. Would you say that since in the last 2 years, your relationships with people in general are different?
Totally, especially after Little Corn Island, as I told you, when I put aside my position and I just be human, and instead of being a manager, then I could see people, then I could hear people.
When you say just be human, what do you mean?
It means, you know, like human, me and you, and a doctor and a person that is doing a labor work, you know, in our society, the people have the classification in society. And you say different hi to a doctor and a manager and a labor even inside the street, or a person that you think is a homeless person. You even don't say hi to him. Not you, in general, I am saying.
Oh, I was just checking the time there.
Yeah.
I do need to stop it at 30 minutes and start a fresh one, just for taking note purposes. So what we might do quickly is just stop this tape here, and we'll jump on to the next part of the podcast.